Hi YouTube. I thought I'd post this video as somebody who never posts videos, who's not a professional. I'm just recording on my phone to try to offer up what my experience was with the procedure that I had, which was rotator cuff surgery. I had a full thickness tear. I had some partial tears. I had the Tenodesis procedure for my bicep tendon, and then I also had Acromioplasty all at the same time. So I had a pretty extensive 3-hour-long procedure 12 days ago. And in advance of the procedure, I watched a lot of videos which were super helpful to me, and I'm thankful that people took the time to post their experiences online. At the same time, some others' experiences were different than mine by quite a bit, and I thought I'd post this video to give those of you who are trying to get prepped the same way that I was, try to share my experience, because I think I have some positive things to share and some things to share that I didn't see or hear about prior to surgery that might be helpful to you. So without further ado, and in no particular order, I'm just kind of reading off some notes here. The first thing I tell you is that I went into the procedure thinking that the surgery would be very difficult and that I would be going through some excruciating pain for about a week or two. And my experience has been very different than that. I found the procedure to, first of all, it was no big deal, to be honest with you, partially because of the nerve block that my doctor had done. And that nerve block was helpful for about 20 hours. I literally felt nothing after surgery besides being a little bit groggy from the anesthesia. So if you have the option to talk with your doctor about having a nerve block versus not, I'd encourage you to consider the nerve block. It was super helpful to me. For the entire day afterwards, again for about 20 hours, I literally felt nothing in my arm. So that was helpful. Number two is people had mentioned that sleeping would be difficult, and they're right, it is. I bought on Amazon a bunch of different pillow wedges for $20-30 a piece that would just help me, try to be able to, prop up the arm and do different things to get comfortable, to try to get this arm into a neutral position so that I could sleep for longer periods of time before having to move. People talked about the issue of painkillers providing you with that wonderful experience of getting backed up, and that's not fun. I found that did in fact happen for me, and so the purchase of a stool softener / laxative, I had that, and I'm glad that I had that for when I was using the painkillers. Very helpful. I also bought a neck pillow, a neck roll, kind of like the kinds you see on Amazon. It was $10 or whatever, the kind you see on an airplane. And that was super helpful as well. All those collectively helped me have a good experience for when I got home and when it was time to take naps and sleep and so forth. What I didn't do that others had suggested doing was buy special shirts, Velcro, cut them and Velcro because it's so difficult to get in and out of a shirt, special tank, I didn't do any of that. And I haven't found taking my shirt off and putting my shirt on or jackets like this one to be a big deal at all. I don't even need help. So relax about the issue of getting clothes on or off. I don't find it to be that hard. I also didn't buy a recliner. Some people suggested buying a $200 or $300 recliner on Amazon. I haven't felt that I needed that. I've been able to get comfortable on my couch and just prop my feet up with the hassock or whatever, and it's been just fine. So those are kind of some of the things that I had done prior to surgery. Now let's talk about the surgery itself and after. I found that the pain of the surgery, again because of the block, was no big deal for about 20 hours. Then obviously reality hits, the nerve block starts to wear off, you start to get feeling in your hand and your fingers, and that's when you know it's time to take the pain meds. And my doctor prescribed Oxy for me, oxycodone. 2 pills at 5 milligrams a piece makes for a dose of 10 milligrams, and I used both pills. I used a full 10 milligram dosage for 48 hours only. I only needed pain pills for 2 days. While I was on those pain pills, I hated it. I couldn't put 2 sentences together. I was groggy, and I didn't like the way that they made me feel at all. I found that the pain was considerable enough, though, that I did need them. So I wasn't trying to be a hero by not being on them. Everybody told me stay ahead of the pain. I took them about every 3.5 hours, that dosage. The second night, I had my surgery on a Tuesday. On Thursday night, I took 15 milligrams because it was really smarting. and was kind of throbbing like this with this pain. And that night was awful. I just felt miserable, partially because of the oxy. And I determined the next morning that I just was done with that painkiller. And so the next morning I cut my dosage in half, and then I never looked back. And I got off of oxy thereafter. I had headaches for 2 days after I stopped taking the oxy, for reasons I can't explain other than I think the oxy was trying to get me to take more. As you probably heard, these opioids are so strong that they make you want more, and I just decided I wasn't going to give in. So I just used Tylenol, and that worked fine for me, and it's all I've used since is Tylenol. Some days, like today, I haven't taken anything, and I'm on day 12, and there have been many days prior to today where I've literally taken nothing, and I've been just fine. On the other hand, there have been some times where it hasn't been a perfectly smooth line down in terms of the pain curve here. A couple 3 nights ago, my arm was just pulsing and aching and kind of throbbing, if you will, and I definitely needed Tylenol that night. And so the next day I was fine, nothing. I've been icing a lot in between. One thing I bought was an ice machine prior to surgery, $150 ice machine that was on Amazon. I would encourage you to consider one. What's helpful about that ice machine is it's got a sleeve that you put on over a shirt or over the bandages, which is what my doctors did for me when I was coming out of surgery. They put that on with underlayment underneath it. When you have the surgery and you've got that nerve block, you can't feel how cold anything is because you're so numb. So with that underlayment underneath and the sleeve on top, and then close over the top of the sleeve, I came out of surgery ready to plug into the ice machine. As soon as I got home, I did, and I ran it for 48 hours non-stop on basically the coldest setting thereafter. And that really helped with the swelling. Let me tell you, my hands didn't swell up at all, or my hand didn't swell up at all. My arm didn't swell up at all. I didn't have any bruising. And I think that 48 hours of just keeping things cold without my wife having to change ice or bags of peas or kind of that sort of thing. We didn't have to do that at all. You do have to keep putting ice in the machine, but it's really easy to do. It's just a cooler that's hooked up to a line that connects into the shoulder sleeve, and one line pumps the cold, freezing cold water through the sleeve, and the other draws it back out to go back into the cooler down below and recycle that cold water over and over again. It's very quiet, doesn't make any noise, $150. I thought, yeah, I'm going to do this and hope that it works. And it did. So that's another thing I would encourage you to consider for your surgery. But after that 48-hour period, I took the sleeve off. Everything looked great. I had no issues with the stitches. I had 5 different ports, by the way, in my shoulder here. No issue with the stitches. When they took the stitches out at my post-op at the 7-day mark, I didn't even feel them taking out the stitches. It was a no-brainer. The bandage came off. It really was just fine. So no issues there. One thing I would tell you that's been helpful to have, however, are long sleeve shirts. Long sleeve shirts, because this contraption, this DonJoy contraption that I'm in, sometimes it gets kind of scratchy with the Velcro straps and so forth, and if you've got a short sleeve shirt, you can get chafing at the points here where the Velcro is. So that's one thing that I found myself using quite a bit post surgery, is long sleeve shirts, just to keep the chafing down. I've been doing a lot of walking. I didn't see people talk very much about the importance of blood flow, but I get up and off the couch as often as I can and walk around the house. I've gone for a 2-mile walk and everything in between to try to just keep my body moving blood. If you've got a stationary bike or you can go for a walk, do it. Get that blood moving. I think that's a good thing to do. I've been drinking a lot of water. I've been focusing on eating very healthy, lots of vegetables and fruit to try to give my body the nutrients it needs to heal up as quickly as possible. I have been more tired than I expected to be. I've been more groggy than I expected to be. I still feel like I'm fighting it today to some degree. There have been days when I've taken literally 4 or 5 naps. I've been that tired. What's normal is about a nap a day. So just a heads up that's been taking place. Apart from that, I would just say that I've had some throbbing and some aching that has taken place since the surgery, which that's the only irritant that I have post-surgery, is that there have been times, for reasons I can't explain, where my shoulder just aches and throbs. And I got to take some Tylenol to help with that. And then, oddly enough, for instance, I'll wake up the next morning. It usually happens at night. I'm on day 12. It's been 2 or 3 nights where I've had this issue kind of arise, and then I wake up the next morning and it's gone for reasons I can't explain. So, anyway, I hope this video has been helpful. For those of you who are about to have the surgery, who've been told that it's going to be awful, I'm hoping that it's not the case for you, because it hasn't been the case for me. And I'm very hopeful about what the surgery is going to do for me over the next several months while I've got physical therapy. I think I'm going to get back to 100%, and I'm feeling very positive about that. So here's hoping that you have a very successful surgery.